Welcome back to another episode of the Steelers Q&A here on a Sunday night, or it's not a Sunday night, Saturday night, prepping you for your Sunday of football action. And I've got Corey Eckenroth here with me tonight. And Corey, we're going to break down this game. We're going to talk a little bit of Steelers. Can they rebound after week 2? Are they going to reinforce their issues maybe this week? And as always, we're going to get to your questions in the chat. So listeners, get your questions in here. Appreciate all of you who will join. Like, subscribe, and share if you would for the channel and for this show and others. So, Corey, welcome in. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. Doing fine. I was watching some college football.
Yep.
And was interested in that Indiana-Illinois game that's turning into a blowout, actually.
I didn't see the score on that one. I was out earlier, but I know Miami was up 10-0 when I got ready to set up here over Florida. So
They are currently up 13-0.
okay,
Miami is, that is.
okay, yeah.
So.
See it through the crack in the door. That game specifically, I figured Miami would end up wiping the floor with them. By the time it's over, they might have like one of those like 40-0 type games, I think. But
yeah, they're just going to grind it down. But
yeah.
the other game of interest is that South Carolina Missouri game. That's turning into a really good game. So if you can kind of keep a side eye on that while you're watching us, make sure you check on that one too.
Okay, let me see here. ESPN app.
Because
They've got
Lenore
everything.
Sellers is supposed to be one of the top picks in the draft next year,
Yep.
and he
was
going
hurt
up
last
against,
week.
and he's going up against Drew Aller's backup last year, Bo Pribula, who stepped out of his shadow to take over at Missouri. And Missouri's been pretty good on defense the last couple of years, so I think that they have a good chance. If Missouri can get by them here, there's a good chance Missouri could, really cause a lot of ruckus in that SEC.
Sure. Bro, Lenore Sellers, okay, this is a wild stat line. 11 of 15, 205, 2 touchdowns passing, okay?
Yeah.
The rushing, though?
What was it, 6'3", 240 pounds as well?
Yeah.
Runs like a deer.
No, but listen to this rushing stat line. 7 rushes in this game for minus 17 yards. He has a 7-yard long. He must have...
But they take sacks on the rushing line, don't they?
Do they do that in college? Like,
I think in college they take sacks
or
on
maybe
the rushing
maybe
line.
they do it everywhere, but it could be that. But why would they wouldn't count it as a rush, right? Do they count it as a rush attempt?
Not sure, because I think that at pretty much any time a quarterback can be considered a runner, which the NFL is probably going to be looking at that soon. Because
for betting purposes, right?
well, not just that, but like safety reasons. When do you consider a quarterback a runner? When do you, Jeff Hartman makes a good point about this. I think as soon as the quarterback breaks the pocket, he should be considered a running back.
I agree. Yep.
And I think that that's a really safe way to just call it even down the middle. That way, anything that happens after that is fair game.
Okay, so JJ52 says sacks count as rushes. So, yeah, he's got 7 rush attempts for minus 17 yards. That's
trying to get to the box score
wild.
To find out how many sacks he's taken.
Yeah, that's wild. So it must be
4 sacks so far.
4 sacks. Okay, so he must have gotten stuffed on his other 2 and then had like a 7-yard run. So
right.
That is funny. Mark Cunningham is reinforcing that. Yes, they do. That's why his numbers look like that.
Yeah, call out.
Yeah. So very interesting. I am pretty, excited about like 11 of 15, 205, and 2 touchdowns. That sounds pretty good against an SEC defense. I'll take that. A ranked SEC team.
That's a good Tigers defense.
Yeah, and I would, South Carolina probably deserves to be ranked. I know they lost to Vandy last week, but Vandy will get up on you every now and then. So. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm overreacting. All right. Well, we're not here to talk too much college football. Let's talk some Steelers. I know that's what everybody's in here for. So let's do it. If you have questions, obviously get those in here. But let's just start out with the main topic here, Corey. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had 2 very strange weeks. And not necessarily that their win loss total is strange. 1-1 after 2 weeks, pretty regular occurrence for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wouldn't say that that's like out of bounds as far as what people would have expected from this team necessarily. But the way in which they won their week 1 game and then the way in which they lost their week 2 game have very serious concerns attached to it. Uh, Failure in week 1 to be able to run the football. You really needed some kind of miracle work from Aaron Rodgers in a wacky game script to win that game 34-32. You needed a 60-yard field goal by Chris Boswell to win that one. And then in week 2, the chickens came to roost a little bit from their struggles, and the pass game did not help them out. So, I mean, most of the concern lies on the defense. So for me, like, where do you start here? Is this a week for the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 3 to kind of rebound against a Patriots team that should be beatable, um, for a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has higher expectations? Or are they going to kind of reinforce to us that this season could be a long one for the Steelers?
I just hope that the Steelers come ready to play off the plane. So I said this fact in the fix the other day during the show, and I'm going to repeat it here because it is worth mentioning. It's almost the same curse as the Steelers have in playing in Philadelphia, but the Steelers haven't won in Foxborough since 2002. That's 23 years. That is a bad stat to have right now. Then you have the run defense that is absolutely be atrocious right now. They can't stop a cold. And then you have the troubles of the offense to be able to run the ball. So like, where do you begin to fix the problems for this team? Now, the good thing is that the Patriots are seeming to have some of these same issues right now here early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving up a lot of yards rushing the ball. Their linebackers aren't playing very well, and now we're finding out that Christian Gonzalez is going to be out for the game, so that's actually a huge boost for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I do expect DK Metcalf to actually be a lot more effective now that Christian Gonzalez is going to be out. Um, but I'm hoping that this is the game that the Steelers, quote unquote, get right in running the ball. Um, Beyond the defensive line, the linebackers, like I said, are struggling right now, and now the secondary. So there's ample opportunity for the Steelers facing a defense that might actually be considered worse, as crazy as that sounds, to be able to run the ball.
Yeah. There's a few comments in the chat really backing up what you're saying here. It's like the two areas where we were talking about the Steelers needing to be stronger and having applied themselves to be stronger at this year, running the football on offense and stopping the run on defense. Neither one of those things have been anything worth mentioning, other
Right.
than to say what the heck is going on here with these things. It hasn't just been that it's been like, oh, okay, maybe they need a chance to get rolling with this a little bit. Maybe more on the offensive side, it's that way with the running game. But on defense, it's like they're getting cooked regularly for massive chunks, and a lot of it's their own fault. I mean, guys missing tackles, guys overrunning plays, and it is kind of funny to me. I mentioned this stat on the All Bets Are Off segment with Jeff on Friday, but the Steelers are the number one defense in the league in run stuffs. They have 16 run stuffs on defense. That's first in the NFL. But they are also last in the NFL in explosive runs given up. It is boom or bust to an alarming degree. Like the booms are like, man, TJ Watt just blew up somebody in the backfield, and the busts are like, oh, this guy just ran for a 60-yard touchdown. You know what I
That
mean?
you just reminded me of something that used to characterize the Steelers defense, that they used to be bend but don't break, but at this point
Yeah,
they're really just break but don't bend. I mean, it's just completely opposite. It's
yeah.
just that they're just bending and breaking at this point.
No,
It's just
they break you or you break them. I mean, there's no
uh,
in between. Yeah,
right, right.
exactly. Yeah,
It all starts up front on the defensive line. Obviously, Cam's still playing well, um, and
yeah. He's been fine.
we
Yeah,
can sit here and crow until the cows come home about how Keanu Benton's on his rear most of the time, and there's not much behind him. That's the bigger problem until Derek Harmon comes back. But we all still need to temper expectations. The guy's a rookie
Yes.
who hasn't played much in the NFL yet, so like
And
it's
Terrell Austin was saying that conditioning could be an issue even as early as this week. Like it's a you got to get back into football shape with all this
right.
stuff. But a lot of the comments in here, John S says, "How much impact does Derek Harmon have in the run game? I'm not expecting a complete fix, but how much will he help?" I do think in limited snaps this week, if he does end up playing, which I think he will, um, but I think it'll be limited. It'll be kind of like I mean, this he's not Micah Parsons, right? But like what the Packers did the first couple of weeks with Parsons, where they just kind of put him in on specific downs and distances and types of plays. I think Harmon will be worked in as a rotational piece, and I do think that he'll be somewhat effective. I don't think you can get much worse than Benton has been in the run game, especially against double team type blocks, duo and power type run schemes. And I think he can probably hold his own a little bit better. But I mean, what's to say? Because again, like you said, rookie hasn't played an NFL regular season snap yet, coming off an injury. Um, this feels like a wait and see.
Wyatt Black needs to get a lot of playing time in this game. Trial by fire, because as much as I want to see Harmon out there, Wyatt Black's actually taking more snaps and could probably be more effective against the run right now. I know he's a rookie, but he's looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be a rookie though. He's gonna make those mental mistakes. What you're hoping for is that they're not at critical times. So one of the things that the Steelers definitely need to do is try to run some stunts. I haven't seen them run a whole lot of stunts yet this year. Everything on defense has been completely vanilla, and that has been really the most alarming thing. I don't know if they're holding plays back or what. At this point, they can't afford to. I think that their backs are kind of almost to the wall here in terms of their
Mm-hmm.
season. They need to do something soon to turn this around.
Yeah. Yep, they do. They do. They've got to. They've got to. I mean, the whole reason we thought this can work without a young franchise quarterback in place and all that good stuff that the Steelers haven't had obviously since Roethlisberger pre elbow injury. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Um, the winning structure for the Pittsburgh Steelers is top 10 defense and just enough offense. And right now, the offense, like in week 1, that week one's just an outlier for me. I don't even know what to think about week 1 because it was just so weird how they won that game. Because it just doesn't, it's not a Steelers game, right? And then this last week, I will give the defense somewhat of not a pass, but like a caveat. They didn't give up 31 points. They gave up 24 points, and Caleb Johnson handed the Seahawks 7 free points. So,
And the momentum, which actually meant a
yes,
lot more at that point.
yes, exactly. So, and not to say that the defense would have not ended up giving 31 points up without the Caleb Johnson situation, but
I don't
there's
believe for
a
I
high
don't believe for
likelihood they were. Yeah, there's a high likelihood that game's under 30 for Seattle, and then maybe your offense gets one more chance to put something up on the board. But you're absolutely right. The momentum shift from that was a game changer, absolutely, and so without like throwing, without saying the defense is better than we think it is, I think that there is a chance for that to really improve over the next couple weeks, especially with the opponents that you're going to face. Who do you got this week? You've got the New England Patriots, who Drake May has been playing awesome, but it's Drake May in the running game and some play action stuff down the field. If you can eliminate some of the deep ball stuff, then really they're just going to try to dink and dunk down the field on you. And I think the Steelers can do fine with that. And the Steelers offense specifically can counter that pretty well against a suspect New England pass defense specifically. But then you talk about week 4, obviously that's going to be a hyped up game. You're in Dublin, Ireland. It's going to be a it's going to there might be more Steelers fans there for that game than there are in Acrisure Stadium on a Sunday. I mean, seriously, the whole stadium might be Steeler fans. And then you get to play either JJ McCarthy or Carson Wentz,
Hmm.
right? And a Vikings team that is good but underwhelming, especially on the
Right.
offensive side of the ball. So the
Right.
Steelers defense, I said it last week, they have no excuses against Seattle to fix some of their things. Really, they have no excuses again these next 2 weeks. And if it doesn't get fixed before the bye week, I have serious, serious concerns that it won't be fixed this season.
No, and it's really this season's really going to speak to who's doing well in their coaching job. From Pat Meyer to Carl Dunbar to Terrell Austin to, it's all the it's all coming to a head at this point where the it yeah, it's all coming to a head that the coaching is either subpar or something else is wrong, and it's the coaching at this point. Like I just wonder why they're taking so long to do something about it when they know what the obvious answer is.
Mm. I, I don't think like I don't think it's a schematic coaching issue
No,
100%.
no,
Like I think there are some things I think they could do more. I think they could play more press man and more um or in less single high cover 3 safety looks, right? Where you're just kind of like letting the underneath stuff happen. They're trying to be a bend but don't break defense, but they're still breaking, and that just isn't going to work. So if you're going to break, then get a lot more stops. Like if you're gonna give up big plays anyway, then get up there and force some three and outs by getting up in people's faces.
but
Play a lot more press man.
I'm just more concerned that the end game changes are just number one so late to
Yeah.
they wait so long to get these changes in, and number two, most of the time when they make the changes, it's hit or miss on whether they're actually working or not. So
Mm,
they
yeah.
need to be making more changes more often so that they see what actually works, but our coaches aren't doing that.
And see, last year I thought Mike Tomlin and company were fantastic when it came to like mid game, halftime specifically adjustments. They led the league in point differential on in the third quarter,
Right.
all the way until like the final 2 weeks of the season, and that was
Everything fell apart.
after everything fell apart. Like
Yeah.
for like 10 or 12 weeks, they didn't allow a single point in the third quarter all season, and they had scored 60 something points in third quarter. So, but this year it's different. My biggest gripe with the coaching staff is utilization, like playmaker utilization. I think that they put guys out of position all the time. They did it with Broderick Jones at right tackle because they weren't willing to move on from Dan Moore Jr. They had Caleb Johnson running freaking kickoffs back. I mean, good grief. Get that out of here. And they've got Keanu Benton playing nose tackle at 200 or at 305 pounds. I mean, you've got a 330-pound guy in the building that played nose tackle in college, and you won't put him there because you like Keanu Benton there. Well, there's nothing to like about Keanu Benton there right now. So make the switch. I mean, just get off your high horse and make the dang switch. And that's where I have my biggest concerns there. And then guys aren't playing well. I mean, guys talked about Patrick Queen last week, and I was talking about Peyton Wilson, and really both of those guys they're just not playing good overall. And Jalen Ramsey has made a couple big plays, but he's letting guys get inside him, and Darius Slay has been a bit of an issue. And I know there's some people in this chat who have talked about Slay and that he might be an issue this year, but it's just been coming to a head early for the Steelers.
Well, I think Slay played a lot of man D when he was in Detroit, and I think he played under Terrell Austin at Detroit,
He
didn't he?
did. Well, yep.
And so like that's where
7 years ago
Slay,
now, or something
yeah,
like that.
that's where Slay made his name in that kind of defense, and now they're asking him to play zone, where he's got to switch guys off with his eyes, and communication's got to be a lot tighter, and I think it's just been a little difficult for him to kind of transition to
Well,
that.
well, they're playing a lot of man still. I think it's like 60% man coverage right now, but it's like an off man coverage.
It's a
And
shell man. Like they're waiting for
yeah,
the
it's
man to come to pass through their zone before they're willing to do anything about it.
it's late to react like on the slant routes where they got killed last week against Seattle. You can't let Drake May have easy stuff like that this week. You just can't do it.
No.
So, let's go ahead and take a break, Corey. And when we come back, we'll get to. There's a bunch of questions in the chat that we want to get to, and then we'll keep talking about this. If you are listening live, obviously we're not going anywhere. But if you are listening on audio only formats, stay tuned. We will be right back after this short break. And welcome back to the Steelers Q&A. It's Jeremy Betts and Corey Eckenroth on Saturday night here. Hope you all are chilling and ready for the not so chill moments of Sunday watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Corey, I'm edge of my seat guy. Obviously, when I'm watching the games, I'm sure you are too. Some people I think can probably sit back, relax, and kind of just let it come in stride, but can't do that myself.
I scare my wife and kids sometimes with how I yell.
Yeah, my wife and kid were in the bedroom the other day, and I'm out in the living room, and my little one comes running out saying, "What happened, Daddy? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing. It's just this stupid game." She goes back and she says, "Daddy's yelling at the football again, Mommy." I was like, "Oh man, here we go."
Mine are finally starting to get interested, so they're starting to yell too.
Okay,
So
yeah,
we're getting them there. We're raising them right.
we'll get there too. Mine, unfortunately, is tries to make me she makes me nervous because she goes around the house yelling "Go Browns, stinky Steelers" because her mom taught her
What?
that,
Oh
and I can't
no.
handle it.
Oh.
Can't handle it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Failing as a dad, I think.
Stake your claim. You're the leader of that house.
That's right. I need to. Um, Corey, I'm gonna pull up a question here
Yeah, let's
that
do
I
it.
want get your thoughts on. Let's see here. Okay, where'd it go? Sorry. Oh, here we go. It's Mark Tobin. Until we get a run game, Steelers can't hardly win any games. Arthur Smith's offense is predicated on being able to run the ball. Do you kind of feel the same way? Like until the running game starts clicking, it's going to be hard for the Steelers to win games.
Yes, and then it kind of goes back to what you were saying before about player usage because the running backs, having we were using what, three different running backs between, or we were using Jalen Warren and then we were using Kenneth Gainwell and then Caleb Johnson was, duffing kickoffs, but like what just the usage that Arthur Smith
Yeah.
has for the running backs just does not make any sense. And so I think what needs to happen is they need to clarify the roles and the percentages. And this is something that you and I talked about on the Fix with Andrew Wilbar. Jalen Warren needs to be getting about 75% of the snaps. All of the first and second down work. Kenneth Gainwell, sure, he can be the third down scat back guy if you need a third and long pass play to hit. And then Caleb Johnson should be getting a lot of short yardage, the goal line stuff, and slowly work him into a higher leverage role and when he's earned it, like when there's
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for that. But for the running game to get established, there needs to be consistency with who's running the ball, even if the defense knows what's coming, because Jalen Warren seems to just have way more ability than the other two do right now.
Well, and the Caleb Johnson is a back that you have to get going.
Mhm.
Like you have to give him more than one pop a game. I mean, just that's not going to cut it. And I was noticing earlier that the Steelers elevated Trey Sermon to the active roster on Saturday. So I, I bet Caleb Johnson doesn't even get a helmet this week. That's my take on it. That's my guess. But I just disagree with that, and I don't think it's his fault. Like I don't think you punish him for what happened on Sunday with the kickoff thing on the offensive side of the ball. Like, are you serious? You're not going to give him handoffs because he didn't know a rule that you should have taught him as a coaching staff? Um, and and I'm not
That,
taking all the
that's
blame off of
a
him,
hot take around here, Jeremy. Don't go spouting that kind of stuff around here.
but the dude needs to get snaps. Like I would love it. Jalen Warren, 75% of the snaps, yes, absolutely. But if he's had like two drives in a row where he's been the bell cow, then take him off the field for an entire drive and let Caleb Johnson and Kenny Gainwell be the guys there. Like let Caleb Johnson be the guy on the running downs, first and second down, and let Kenneth Gainwell be the third down guy and just kind of go to that type of formation. And then in the end, you're looking at like a 70% work share for Jalen Warren, and you're looking about 15-15, right, for the other two guys. And that to me makes a ton more sense than a one-off carry for Caleb Johnson in a random third quarter snap, and then Kenneth Gainwell getting all these direct handoffs out of the backfield from shotgun. If you're going to be doing that, I don't mind if you do that, but give it to Jalen Warren. Let Kenneth Gainwell touch the ball in passing situations. That's the only time that it needs to happen, where it's like 3rd and 3 and you're in shotgun and you want to, and you're on the other team's 40 and you want to like give yourself a chance at going for it on 4th down, so you run the ball, right? That's when I can see getting Kenny Gainwell the ball as a runner. Other than that, I don't like it at all. So I agree with you there, and I think the running game does need to improve if the Steelers want to win a bunch of games this year for sure.
I think that the blocking
Let's
up front
see.
definitely needs to improve though for sure to help them out. The run blocking hasn't gotten much push.
Yeah,
The linebackers from the defense are right up in the faces of the linemen helping out, and it's just the running game just hasn't even gotten off the ground. And a lot of that probably has to do with the way that Arthur Smith likes to call the offense. Remember, his last year in Atlanta, he had Bijan Robinson playing a lot of second
yeah,
back snaps, and it was obvious the talent gap between first and second string. So, like, why didn't they move him to first string? Why didn't they give him bell cow snaps? You know, it was. I'm hoping that's not the same thing that's going on
yeah,
here.
yeah. Me too. Okay, Jamie's got a good one. Jamie Carlos says, if the Steelers
Saw
lose
that.
tomorrow, will this mean that the Steelers are the Clemson Tigers of the NFL? Yeah, it absolutely would. To me, yeah, that's a good comp right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, Clemson got that disappointing loss today to Syracuse. It was a good. It
Yep.
was actually a decent game, but it's bad to see Syracuse lose like that. Or
Cade Klubnik is unwatchable right now.
yeah,
It's so
he
bad
had all that
and
NFL hype, and
so
I'm not even
disappointing.
sure any of it was warranted at this point.
So disappointing. I'll ask you this: who's been the best quarterback in college football this year so far?
I mean, everybody's been playing up to expectations, and it's early. But
I mean, everybody's been playing under expectations in my opinion. Like
but the
John
teams that are,
Mateer has been the best college football quarterback to me so far.
I'd say that yeah, considering what he's expected to do in that offense, yeah, I could see that. I'd vouch for that. We were
A
just
lot of
talking
teams are
about
off this week, but
we were just talking about Lenore Sellers and the night he's having against a good defense, so
yeah, yeah.
uh, it,
I think Sellers will end up being the first overall pick,
very possible, very possible.
but we shall see on that one.
He's got those measurables going on his behalf. I mean, his size is just so tantalizing and how fast he can run.
Yeah, it is. His size, his shakeability of tackles. It's very Ben Roethlisberger esque, just with speed.
The last
uh,
the last touchdown that he just threw earlier in this game, he was escaping pressure, rolling to his right, and just flicked the ball just 25 yards, dropped it in perfectly, dime to the receiver. It was nice. It was he's got a nice quick angled release. It just looks easy. It looks so easy. So
yeah, it
he's a
does.
tantalizing player. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens as the season rolls on if he can maintain.
Yeah. Kittredge not going on 4th and 1 last week started it. Used Mount Washington to push through an easy one. Touch push with Mount Washington, or just getting Darnell Washington involved in the passing game like we thought they were going to do. I mean, this needs to happen, right, Corey? He needs to be a bigger part of the offense.
I don't know. I can't remember the last time the Steelers like had trick plays with players such as Darnell Washington, where when's the last time we could ran a hook and ladder or something like that? Just to, I don't know. There's just no creativity to the offense right
Yeah,
now. We saw it in the preseason, just like we seem to every year, where Darnell Washington caught that seam pass down the middle for the touchdown. But
yeah.
where's that creativity during the season? Like,
They only use them when they have to in the
right,
preseason,
right.
in the passing game. Um, let's see. I'm going to pull this one up because I'm trying to figure out specifically what is being asked here. Useless knowledge 904. When does bad coaching come up to blame on all three phases? I think, like, if I read this correctly, this is kind of like pointing the finger at Mike Tomlin, right? And saying If it's bad in all three phases, is that the head coach? That's the problem.
I mean, I'm so sick of watching slow starts, isn't everybody else? That just seems to happen
Yeah,
every single year, where the team just seems unprepared at the very beginning of the season, where they have such intense camps and then they just fall flat when they come out of the gate. Like, where's that come from? That does all start at the top. Let's be honest about that. The lack of discipline that we've seen with the Steelers and their penalty issues. They seem to be okay right now, but let's see if that rears its ugly head.
yeah.
And the it just I don't know I don't know where that ends. I don't know where that begins, but I know it starts at the top. It starts with Tomlin. It's the culture that he's created at this point. This is what he's allowing, and this is how he wants it run. So we either need to get comfy with it, or I don't know. I don't know if we as a fans can raise enough stink that the Roonies would do something about it. But I mean, he's got a contract for another couple of years, so I think we better be patient.
Well, obviously, I'm not seeking comfort, and um, uh,
I'm
you
definitely
know,
not cutting my eyelids. If this keeps going, I'm not
yeah,
watching this.
things of that nature. Yeah. So not happening. Let's see here. I'm gonna bring this one up just because I see it and it's funny. John S asks, "Is she running it back with McDonald's this week?" Absolutely not.
Nice, nice.
I can't take two stomach aches at the same time. It's not happening. I don't know what is on the dinner docket for this or for tomorrow. I have to look, but
We have
I did the meal planning last week and I totally forgot to meal plan for Sunday afternoon. Because on the weekends you have to have a lunch and a dinner at home unless you want to go get food somewhere. And during the week it's like take your lunch to work and whatever, and then you just plan for dinner. So I just blew off Saturday and Sunday lunches last week, um, trying to
we
help out the
crushed
wife
it
a
at
little bit.
dinner this week. So we
Did
did
you? Nice.
hot dogs, hamburgers, corn on the cob on the
Yeah.
grill, cut fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, we went all out, and then the wife uh, she made apple dumplings. So
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, they were amazing.
John says I love McDonald's, and Jared Devil says I'm meal planning McDonald's. That's great.
I used to meal plan
Uh,
McDonald's when they had like the dollar McChickens and dollar, McDoubles and stuff like that. $10
yeah.
went a long way.
Oh my gosh! And now $10 gets you a meal, maybe. Like,
Uh,
they're doing their value menu or value meals are back,
yeah,
and it's like $8, and you're like, no, keep
no,
trying,
yeah,
keep trying.
right.
That's crazy. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be running it back with McDonald's this week. Just to be honest and real about that. Um, Kobe one Kenobi. Do you think if Broderick continues to be horrible, will the Steelers consider getting an elite left tackle instead of a QB in the first round next year? My answer to this is no. Um, I think they would go through free agency for that because they tried the draft situation a couple years ago. And if it doesn't work out, I think that they'll try to pay some money to a guy at left tackle and make it work and go after the rookie quarterback. Barring like a total collapse and meltdown from this rookie class, and it's not starting out great, but I think it's going to improve down the road here. Um, I would expect that the Pittsburgh Steelers take a quarterback in the first round of the draft in Pittsburgh.
I could see a situation where, okay, I'm going to push back on this just a little bit, and here's why.
Okay, yeah,
I could see a situation where if the Steelers don't feel comfortable jumping up into the top half of the first round to get a quarterback, and they only move 5 spots, and I'm assuming they're having a good season. They end up in the late 20s, and they've got to move either way up to get up into the tens, the top half of the first round, or they're only going to move a little bit. So let's just say, they're picking at 20. They seem to pick at 20 or 21 every year anyway. So let, let's say that they need to move to 15 to get their quarterback. Now, they've got all of this draft ammo from these comp picks that they've been saving up. If they only have to move 5 spots, that's still going to leave them with a lot of ammo to be able to possibly move into the top half of the second round or back into the first, maybe get that left tackle.
yeah. Hey, um, I I I would say that Broderick Jones I don't know. I might get thrown off of
I'm going to
a
say
bridge
this:
into
the
the
jury's
Allegheny
still
for
out on
this.
him. I mean, there's,
Yes,
I'm actually, you're turning me around on him, Jeremy. You really are. But I'll
I
say
was
this
gonna
much:
say.
he started out rough that first game. He turned it around this last game. It'll be interesting to see how he does tomorrow. Maybe he just needed more time on that left side because they've had him at that right tackle spot for the last 2 years.
Yep.
So I think you're right. I think he just needs that time at left tackle. We knew he
Yes.
was going to be a project. Well, you stalled that project for 2 years before you actually put him in the spot you were supposed to.
Yep.
So like you're getting, you're getting what you should have expected to get when you did what you did.
Yep.
Is
I
is that an FAFO moment?
it could be yeah, very much so.
I
Now,
mean,
let me and I think that's the only way this coaching staff learns sometimes is and maybe even
sometimes.
not then. So that okay, Mark Tobin absolutely nails it for me. Isaac Sayamalu has not been good. Like he's been like just so bleh meh from that spot, from the left guard spot, that it's not helping Broderick Jones. And but
How
that's
much?
not to
How
say
much
that
of
he's
that? How much of that is because he doesn't trust Broderick Jones right now?
maybe, but Broderick Jones to me has not been the big problem with the Steelers.
I
It,
don't think
like
so.
in I just don't think so. I think that the schematic approach so far has been so wonky that I mean there's no plan for for schematics building off of each other, especially in week 2. And Broderick Jones played a lot better in week 2. I still don't think he was that bad in week 1. Yeah, PFF scores, okay? 54 PFF pass blocking grade, right? And then he gave up 3, he was responsible for 3 sacks given up. 2 of those Rodgers like moved into the sack. I
Mhm.
mean,
Moved up
straight
into
up.
the
So,
pocket and they
yeah,
moved into
moved
the
up into
sack.
the pocket, into the sack. And I think that fans want a scapegoat, and Broderick Jones right now is the scapegoat on offense, and then on defense, Keanu Benton is the scapegoat, and he's been bad. He's been way worse, like quantifiably worse comparative to uh, Broderick Jones on the offensive side of the ball, in my opinion.
I can't remember the last time, probably last season, obviously, but through 2 games this season, I can't remember if I one play where a guard pulled on a running play, and like that's a Pittsburgh Steelers staple. Like you pull a
Mm-hmm.
guard every once in a while to run up the gut. So like, where's
Yeah,
that been? You know,
yeah,
and is Isaac Samalu finally, getting too old? Is Father Time catching up with him? He came
yeah,
over as a veteran. He's into his 30s now. Who knows?
yeah. Um, when he came over and Jordan Mailata said he's the smartest offensive lineman I've ever played with, I was like, oh crap. That, oh, that's great.
That's
Smartest
the
offensive lineman I've ever played with.
set the bar down
Yeah,
here somewhere.
that's not like if he'd have come out and said, "Man, you're not getting a more physical, nasty, mean blocker than Isaac Sayamalu." That'd be one thing. But when
Yeah.
your teammate says, "Bro, I've never played with a smarter person than so and so," that's when I'm like, out, done, over. And he was okay last year before he got hurt. He's just a body there now, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just not been great, but um and then Mark said that the O line coach. Oh no, that's the wrong one. O line coach is a problem too.
Mhm.
I 100% agree with this. Should have been out this last year. So this last off season.
Yeah, I've mentioned it. I was an apologist of his for a while, and I just can't be anymore. The growth just isn't there, for some of the players. And there's I don't know if that I think that's might be the first domino to fall if they decide to make any kind of changes, but I have no idea short of, begging somebody to come and coach, you know, out of retirement. I won't name any names. Everybody in Pittsburgh wants the guy. So I don't know what you do in that situation where at the beginning of the season, all the coaches are pretty much taken up that's going to be worth getting at this point. So
Yeah,
I think we're stuck because
I'm
The Steelers front
I'm
office are a
available.
patient bunch. I mean, I'd be willing to do it, but I
Yeah, we're
can't do any worse. Maybe I don't know.
two.
Maybe I could.
Yeah, two man combo, right? We can combo block this offensive line coaching job, and I don't know. Vote in the comments whether you think we should replace Pat Meyer or not. Me and Corey, that'd be fun.
I'd give it to
We're gonna
Dave. At least Dave played defensive
yes,
line.
yes, okay, sure. I played running back. Does that help like with the offensive line coaching stuff? I know like the blocking schemes, right? I know that if the running back needs to go through the A gap, through the two
Right.
on the right hand side between the center and the guard, then that's where the hole needs to be, right? So, however you get there, whether you're pulling or crashing on a defensive end or whatever you're doing, whether you're running duo up there, whether you're running inside zone and just getting to a spot and blocking somebody, how hard can it be, right?
I I don't know. I played safety corner, so
Okay, yeah, yeah. Um, I think the only position I didn't play was like offensive and defensive line. So, but that's
yeah.
what happens when you play for a small school. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat know what that's like. So, Corey, you and me, we should have like a Glory Days podcast one time and just talk about our high school football careers.
Oh, I didn't even play in high school. I played
Oh,
one year
okay.
in middle. I have 1 year of football experience.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Well, hey, we can talk about my high school experience. I'm just kidding.
Talk about it all you want.
That no, I don't need to do that. I'll end up making stuff up by the end of it. Oh man. Okay, let's make this our last point here that we'll talk about.
Okay.
Um, Josh Parker says 28 missed tackles in 2 games, absolutely terrible. At that pace, that's 240 missed tackles all year. Um, the Atlanta Falcons for all of their defensive struggles over the last few years. Right now, they're a top 5 defense in EPA per play, and they've missed 6 tackles in 2 games. And I think there's a couple of teams that have
Dang.
not missed any at all um, through 2 games. So it's like this Steelers defense has some major issues, man. I don't think it'll all be fixed in week 3, but I think that some significant improvements can be made on that side. Just eliminating some of those big plays. If they can eliminate half the big plays this week and keep up the run stuff rate that they're on right now, 16 run stuffs through 2 games. So another 6 or 8 run stuffs, where the running back is stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage, and then you give up half of the bigger plays, then that's a good step in the right direction. And then you keep moving that on. And then hopefully by the bye week, we're like, okay, we're 2-2 or 3-1, and we're looking at a second half, quote unquote, of the schedule where things have come together a little bit more, and hopefully they can iron out some issues in week 5 that they might still have while everything kind of turns the corner a little bit. And I always said from the start, these first 4 weeks is going to be find your footing, a lot of new pieces again on both sides of the ball, and especially offense. I was thinking more or less it was be the offense mostly that would be the issue through those 4 weeks that they'd have to figure out. But turns out you can suck on defense too when you're paying guys 162 collective $1 million to play this season. So
That's an expensive defense. I will say this much. I don't normally like when the Steelers have a bye week so early in the season, but I think this is one season where I actually think they really need it.
yeah, they could. Yep. And we will see how tomorrow goes. And thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your interaction, your
Oh,
comments, your questions. Corey, I know you had a betting nugget for us for tonight. Anything else you want to talk about
well, not
here?
only that, we were talking about our predictions for the game, and I wanted to let you know that I actually changed my prediction. When I
Okay.
was on the fix, I predicted a 21-19 Patriots win. But the more that I've thought about this, and how both defenses are playing right now,
You
I'm
think the Patriots are going to win 31-19? to 19.
No,
Just
no,
kidding.
no, 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 no. I don't. I mean, I don't want to ruin what's going on for the staff picks, but
No, you're good.
let's just say I think it's kind of a repeat of a week one game that we had, and I think the Steelers are going to end up winning if that's the case.
Okay. All right.
So I won't give it all away. Y'all have to go and check out
Yeah.
the article tomorrow when it
Check it
posts.
out when it
But
posts. Absolutely.
yeah,
And your betting nugget?
I got my Steely stats betting nugget of the day. I put a four pick parlay together. You guys will have to tell me how I did.
Okay.
See if and watch for the article tomorrow when Between the Lines comes out. So I got the over. I'm hammering the over on the total, 44 and a half. I got Chris
I like that.
Boswell for 8 kicking points. I think the Steelers are going to get
Ooh.
2 touchdowns. He's going to get those 2 point afters, and then he's going to also get 2 field goals. DK
Yeah.
Metcalf, anytime touchdown scorer. And then Jalen Warren, just 25 receiving yards. That gets me plus 1,300.
Ooh.
Plus
Oh.
1,300.
Yeah, that's big. I think the only one I'd be like really nervous about, is the DK Metcalf anytime touchdown, because he just had one last week. I don't know, but
Christian Gonzalez is out.
that's right. That's exactly right. He draws. That means he draws um, Carlton Davis, I think is who it is, which is not a bad draw for him. I think that
No.
he'll be dynamic. They need him to go over 100. They need him to dominate on the outside one time.
I
Like
think this could be it. I think
they
the
paid him enough.
New England defense is reeling right now, just like the Steelers are. And that's why I
Yep.
think this is going to be a kind of a shootout game.
We'll have the discussion down the road. If the Steelers, if Mike Tomlin has his first losing season this year, I still don't think that's going to happen. But if Mike Tomlin has his first losing season this year, I'm pretty sure I will be like just absolutely off the Tomlin train completely and be like, I do not want to go into a new quarterback and all that with Mike Tomlin calling the shots. Obviously, this is really far away from having to make that type of conversation. But when you start out this poorly in the area where you're supposed to be good, that you've been good under Mike Tomlin and the area that he directs, maybe that conversation needs to be had in more full throatedness. And I don't know, there's going to be people in the chat who will be like, um, I should have you should have been talking about this a long time ago. But I think that maybe jumping off that train before you get the new quarterback in place. So that's my final thought.
Yeah, I think if Tomlin does have a losing record, it's going to give him serious pause to maybe look at another opportunity. Um, I mean, at this point, they'd have to trade him, which that mean a nice little haul. But
I Yeah,
I
I
just
would.
I don't think that there's a team out there that would really want to pay for him, knowing his coaching style, because he is so iron fisted about the way that he wants to control everything. Um, it's that's why we haven't had a very big coaching tree. Tomlin's coaching tree is pretty much limbless. Uh,
Yeah,
it's it's so you know what kind of coach you're getting. You know the standard. The standard's the standard, and the standard's what, 9 and 8. So
the standard is high floor, low ceiling. That's what the standard has become. So, um, I think like on that line, I think that if you move on from Mike Tomlin, you don't trade him, you fire him, you mutually agree to part ways, whatever
that's what it'll end up
terminology
being.
terminology you want to use.
Hmm.
For Mike, like I mean, I would wish him nothing but the best anywhere else. Like I think he's been awesome for the Steelers. I think that he's got a legacy here that is like untarnishable to a degree. I know there's some things that are frustrating about him, but he's done a lot for the city of Pittsburgh. He's been part of. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been a part of some amazing teams and historic seasons, killer bees, and all that good stuff. Um, consistently good defense, and then the you know non-losing season record is just it never happened again. Um, but I think taking a year off, right, like a Pete Carroll or something like that, and then coming back somewhere else could be a good move for all parties involved. Um, and man, would I want to be on the board for the coaching hiring process for the Steelers because I don't know. Do we trust Art Rooney the second to get it right, even if they do move on from
Ooh.
Tomlin? I mean,
I mean,
golly.
is it really up to them, or would they really have Omar Khan really
I was
involved
gonna
in those
say turn the
conversations?
reins over to Omar Khan, and I think that it could be
Because
okay.
the
But
general manager is supposed to have a huge say in who the coach is. So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's
and
true.
who would he bring in? Who would
Yeah,
Omar Khan bring in? That would be
who would Omar
interesting.
Khan bring in?
Mm,
He grew up through the Pittsburgh system, right? So
yeah.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
I think that he's bought into the Andy Weidel presence too, which it's been
Yeah,
very good for the Steelers too in the last couple of drafts.
yeah. I, maybe he could steal away some Eagles coach or something like that. I don't know.
It's not a bad
um,
idea.
it's not. There's a specific branch of a tree that you kind of want your head coach to be from. That San Francisco stuff, whether that's offense or defense. And so we'll see. What I did not expect to get into this, but hey, the mind wanders where it wanders sometimes. But we better get out of here. It's running late, but we appreciate all who tuned in. And Corey, thank you for joining me. Um, I will get you my betting nugget for the Steelers for tomorrow. I am predicting a Steelers win as well, and we will talk to you guys all next week here on the Steelers Q&A. Um, Again, like, subscribe to the channel, and give us a follow on socials. For me, at the Bets 93, and Corey, tell us where they can find you as well.
At Steely underscore McFit on X, and I've got that. Like I said before, I got that Between the Lines article coming out that we're talking about. So check those betting nuggets out, and reply down below and let me know what you guys think of your own bets. I want to hear what you guys got.
All right. Enjoy the Steelers game tomorrow. Hopefully, we get a win. Talk to you next week.